So yeah, more website talk. For those sudsers that have been around since the beginning of this soapy journey, so my OG sudsers, they know a couple of things. And one of those things they know is my initial old inventory and all of the soaps that I made way, way, way back in the day, several years ago. They know that. They also know that there is a site or a place on the site that they can order a full loaf of something. And they also know that if they send a little message with their order asking for a specific OG soap, they will also get that because I am nothing if not a people pleaser. And that's been happening in big and epic form this week. So I have been busy making, single loaves for individual, OG sudsers in old scents and designs. And I'm talking about that for a very good reason. I mean, every once in a while, this me time thing actually is focused on the issue at hand. And today's one of those days. And I will tell you what the reason is and why that's cool in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 320 of 365 days of soap. And today, as I said, we are doing a throwback bar, and that bar is called the Bro Code. But, while we're going to talk about the pour and all of the things and the cool butterfly swirl inside, for sure, we're also going to talk about something that I think is probably more important if you are managing a website or an online business or just a business in general. And that thing is called how to manage and file and store your recipes. Because, as I said, the OG sudsers remember my soaps from way back in the day, but that doesn't mean I necessarily do. And so we're going to talk about what I have tried over the years and ultimately where I am now as far as recipe management and maintaining good records of all of the recipes I've ever made ever, in the video while we make the Bro Code. So let's get there and talk about that. Okay, it's time for a flashback day. We are making the Bro Code, which I first started making in my initial line when Soap and Clay launched several years ago. And I think I just discontinued this. I feel like it's only been about a year and a half since I discontinued this guy, but the people remember. And so with the website coming back online, I've been getting loads of Savvy Sudser orders, and so a whole loaf. And they have been commenting in the order notes, instead of, whatever one they put in, can I get X, Y, or Z soap? And one of these soaps was the Bro Code. And I aim to please, especially if you remember my old products from, that have been discontinued or whatever. That's so nice. And so, yeah, of course I'll make them for you. Problem is, if I don't keep good records, how do I remember what I put in it? And on one hand, we all have that thing where it's well, of course I'll remember because I made it. No, you won't. You're going to make a lot of things and things will fall out of your brain. I promise. 2, you should always have your recipes, written down or in some sort of form, no matter what, just in case, something happens with someone and you need to refer to the recipe to know, what the culprit could have been. Has that ever happened to me in my life? No, it actually never has. Does that mean it won't? No, it really does not. It could happen. So always keep your recipes so you know exactly, what you ever did with every batch of soap ever, or every recipe rather. And, another thing with all of this is I have, for the Bro Code specifically, I do a spearmint and eucalyptus blend, but I need to have everything in some place to remember what percentages of what, or, whatever, to make the proper scent. And if you're thinking, oh, well, there's no way they're going to know, they haven't had access to this for, years, you're also wrong. They remember. Their nose knows for sure. And, there's that. And so anyway, as a result, you are definitely going to need to keep good records. Now, when I first started out, I was totally old school, and in a lot of ways I still am, but I do a secondary process now wherein I actually put it online, which is good. Like, I put it on a computer. But I was old school and I just kept binders and notebooks of all of the recipes. And when I decided to change something, I would make notes on that page and do the thing. And it worked for a while until my binders, my notebooks were, piled up and huge, and so many of them. And until, you spill some oil on a page and now you can't read a piece of it. And, the ink fades, because that's what ink is wont to do. And so a better solution for me, after trying, things on the computer, doing like Microsoft Docs or Excel spreadsheets, I ultimately decided to go basically the same route, but use, Google Docs instead. And there are a number of reasons for that, really. Now, the first and biggest reason why I love using Google Docs and, the Google Drive for this is because Google Drive, in case my hard drive crashes or something terrible happens and I don't have a backup, Google Drive is my backup. I do save them in both locations, a dedicated hard drive for recipes, but also on the drive. So in case either one gets weird, I have my backup. Another reason why I love Google Drive is because it's very handy for when other people are making your soap, i.e. the soapprentices. It's too many soapprentices have had to deal with my chicken scratch handwriting and not knowing if there's a dot here or, whatever. And you guys as sudsers, you get that. You understand, because I write the things down in the recipes. Like, I literally did that yesterday. So I did that to my soapprentices, and that can be very awful. And when I need other people to make my soaps, then I need to have it in a place where they can access it from their phone or from another computer or, whatever, and not have to worry about it. So that's also a huge bonus. Another huge bonus is you can allow whoever you want to access that drive and see your recipes and stuff. So like my sudsers on the Discord, for example, you get access to Mrs. Soap and Clay's recipes. It's a good idea. And the hardest part with it really is putting in your first formatting. How do you want your recipes to look? What information do you want on them? Where do you want that information to go? And creating that, template essentially that you then use for every other soap recipe you make, for every other lotion recipe you make. They all look a little bit different based on what you're making, be it soap or bath bombs or whatever, but you use that same format, that same template for every new recipe. And then you have everything uniform and it looks nice, and you know exactly where to go in your recipe for notes, to if you have a question about the pour or the design. Like this particular one, it's a butterfly swirl, kind of. It's like an inverted butterfly swirl because I do like 3 extra turns of the hanger going, up instead of down. So I have that in my notes so I can make the soap look reasonably the same every single time. Granted, making your soaps look identical every single time is super not something that really any, end user cares about. They care about the scent and that it looks pretty-ish, and most importantly, the performance. So as long as you have that down, you're good to go. But that is really going to be, for me, the best way that I have found is putting everything in a Google Drive and just being really good about literally putting it all in there. And that's the thing. Okay, and on to the cut. And whoa, hello, leg. Let's take that out. We're not making soap today. So I can be pantsless, apparently. But I wanted to show you this part here, actually, with the removing of the liner from the soap, because I do get a lot of questions and sometimes mean comments, which is stupid, but you know what? People can be stupid about the reusing of the liners. And for me, I do reuse all of my liners because I would feel like a jerk if I didn't. It's a not inexpensive product. It's two, really wasteful, if you're just throwing it away after every, time. But I look for these pieces. Once that shiny stuff starts coming off or bubbling underneath, it's time to go ahead and get yourself a new liner and do the things. And so for that particular one, won't be reused. But in the cases where they are reused, I just take a dough scraper and scrape off all the portions and pour back into it, for sure. This soap did get C-popped. It did get gelled because that's what I do for all of my soaps. And let's check out the butterfly swirls inside and see if I, did the right thing with all of this. And end piece, that's very cute. Yep, going the right direction here. The very first soap that I made of this really looked like the Seahawks colors, and it also looked like a Seahawk inside. And I found that interesting because I live in, the Pacific Northwest, and Seattle has a football team and all that jazz. So as far as, the color and everything goes, it was just really good for the local customers. So that was awesome. But I want to see some of the other cuts. Let's hold some things up. Love the swirly swirls with all of that. And yeah, it looks basically like they always look. So that's good. And the oils are exactly the same. The scent blend is exactly the same. And so it's going to perform exactly the same for the end user that specifically requested a loaf of bro code, which is important. So yeah, back to the whole recipe thing. Just bite the bullet. I know it sucks, but just do it when you're like in a chat with someone and just like having a nice conversation with someone. Just sit down, because you can multitask that, sit down and do the thing. We've actually been talking in the Discord. Oh, that's cool. That one's really pretty. Oh, we've actually been talking about in the Discord about doing essentially like a mirroring session. So we go live in the Discord and we all make our stock lists together. We could do it for this too. We all make our format for our recipes to make sure that we have a safe place to keep them all of the time. That's super cool with the 2 black dots. It looks like eyes. Oh my gosh, I love that one. That's super fun. Just some of the activated charcoal didn't quite get mixed in. That is amazing. Oh, I love butterfly swirls for sure. But yeah, we've been talking about doing that in the Discord. And since we're doing like the Zoom thingies every week, I think maybe we should start doing that and just hold all of the VIP sudsers and myself accountable, hold our feet to the fire collectively with love, and just get these things busted out so we have everything in a nice safe space where we don't have to worry about how to find our recipes ever again. But those would be my tips on actually keeping your recipes, because you never know when someone's going to pop out of the woodwork and say, hey, can I have a soap that you made 8 years ago? It happens. That's day 320. And there it is, the bro code. And oh my God, some of those bars are so freaking cute. I can't. Like the one with the 2 black dots that kind of looks like maybe an octopus or something. Super wild. I love that butterfly swirl a whole lot for sure. And yeah, to the recipe management, for sure, that is something that's very, very important. When I first started out, I was just old school and just putting everything in binders. And I have big notebooks full of recipes. And I would go back and make a note, like this is how I changed it and did whatever. But over the years, those pages get faded and they get covered in oil as you're flipping through to find the recipe. And also you could lose them. And so what I ended up doing, basically because of not only the YouTube channel, but also everything that's going on in the Discord, is I finally bit the bullet and I got all of my recipes out of the notebooks and into a Google Drive, into a Google Doc that is easily editable. And the bonus is, if my hard drive crashes or my computer borks, the Google Drive is still there. And it's accessible to anyone that I want to give access to, like the sudsers in the Discord, for example. So that's been an absolute game changer. I highly recommend going that route. You may think that you're starting out small and it's not really necessary, but in all honesty, just formatting the first, Google Doc, how you want the recipes to all go, that's the hardest part. And then it's just kind of plug and play, right? So yes, do that. If you are interested in seeing how I format things or whatever, I've been telling the Sudsers in the Discord that we need to do a, live and just format things like, stock lists and these sorts of documents. And I think we really should start using our Sunday Discord time for that. So that will be happening on the Discord. If you're interested, go click the join button, become a member of the channel, and you get access to the Discord. For those of you who have subscribed or have become a member or, all of the things, thank you. You guys are Sudsers regardless of where you fall, and I appreciate you. I really do appreciate you guys so much this week. I mean, every week, but even more so this week. It's wild. All of the love, all of the things coming my way is humbling and cool. So thank you. I'm out of here for today. I actually need to go make some cuts and do some things for, the orders. So I will see you guys all again tomorrow for another round of soapy fun. Bye.